Hi guys, in this video we will see how to create a Nest.js application. So Nest.js is a framework built for building efficient scalable Node.js server-side application. It under the hood it utilizes Express.js, so it is built on top of Express.js. However, you can also use Fastify as well. So to create a new application in Nest.js, we need to have a CLI. So I'll just open a command prompt and install the Nest.js CLI. So I already have this Nest.js CLI, so I can check the version for it, and it should be nest version to check which version I have. So I have 8.1.1, which is the latest version. So to create a new application, we can write nest new and the application name. So application name would be nest API Nestjs API and click on enter. So it will create a basic boilerplate application. So once it also asks for the package managers, like what package manager should be used. So I will choose npm. You can also choose yarn or pnpm. So I'll choose npm. So all the dependencies have been installed. I'll just open my project in Visual Studio Code now. So I'll just cd into it Nestjs API and just code dot to open that in Visual Studio Code. So if I look into it in the package.json file, so you can see the various options set by Nestjs itself. So to run our application in development mode, I'll just we can directly also use the CLI, as well as we can specify the command to run as npm run start dev, and it should watch our changes as well. If we make any changes in the file, so it should watch those changes as well. So Nestjs is very similar to Angular 2 and above. If you see, the folder structure is actually similar, but the key difference is it is for backend, whereas Angular is a front end framework. So you will find it similar. So let's go through the folder structure itself. So basically this is the folder structure, package.json and packagelog.json. Since it is a Node.js project, we need them. We will be using TypeScript, so there is a tsconfig JSON file for the TypeScript compilation, and then we have this Nest CLI JSON. So it is related to the Nest CLI itself too, with nothing much here actually. And then we have this source folder and test folder. So main is the starting point. So if you see, we have one bootstrap function in the main.ts file, and we usually this bootstrap function is called to start up the application. We have one app module as well, so our code will be modularized in Nest, not in normal modules but in Nestjs modules. So you can see we have a class app module which contains this controller, app controller, and one service also, app service. So if I open a browser, let me open a browser, or I'll just utilize the collection itself. So I have this one collection, and the environment is set up as well. So I have this post API environment. So this is pointing to localhost 3000. So if I click on this and URL send it, so it is returning me hello world. So to check that endpoint, so this is coming from this app controller, and this slash is returning this app service dot get hello. So this is returning me hello world. So I'll just rename this endpoint to give me health. So I'll just write the function check app health, and it will return me return. Okay, actually let's say health. Okay, and I'll delete this method from the service itself, and I'll go here and call this check app health. This should be fine and my application should be started. And now if I browse go through here and I'll see, so I'm returning apple. Okay, so once this is done, I'll I will be creating a post API similar to my previous video which I created using Express.js and Sqlite. Here we will be using again Sqlite as a database here, and we will be using Typeorm as our ORM based solution. So I'll just open this and I'll just navigate to this folder. I'll just create a module. To create a module, basically you can utilize the nest commands itself. So I'll just open the link here, and to check for the CLI commands, just go here and you can go to the overview, and here you can see other commands as well. So CLI command syntax, and you can see here, so there is one generate command, and I will generate a module basically. So I'll just generate one module, nest generate, and I'll specify module, and it will be post module. So it created one module file inside this post module file inside this post folder, and also updated the app module. So if I go here and check for it, so you can see this post folder has appeared and we have one post module. So this @ module is a decorator. This is utilized by Nest framework itself, and this marks a class as a module class. So to create a controller, I'll just again run this command, and this time I'll create this nest. Okay, let's not create this with the CLI. You can create it with CLI also. I'll want to show it here, so I'll just create a post controller .ts, and this should be export controller. I'll append the controller. So if you have ever worked on Angular projects, Angular 2 and above to be specific, you might be aware of this decorator functions and stuff. So I'll just get this post controller. I also need one post service, so I'll just use this as a post service.ts file, and I'll create this Expo post service. We have to mark it as injectable since we will be injecting our Typeorm models or entities. So I created one post service class. I'll just store one post. So I'll just create one model as well. So inside this post folder, I'll create this DTO folder, and I'll create a post DTO. Post.dto.ts, and I'll create class post DTO, and it will contain this title, string, and content string. So this is our post DTO. Likewise, Okay, so now once I have created this controller, so I want to register this in our module. So what I'll do is I'll just import it, and in the module decorator I'll specify controllers and specify post controller, that this is our controller, and I also want to specify the service. So I'll just specify this post service to get it injected, and to inject this post service inside a controller, I'll just write constructor, and we need one instance, so I'll just say private, this is post service. Since I have injected post service in our post controller, I'll create some methods in our post service. So I'll do one crude operations. So we will be doing crude operation for this API. So we should be able to get all the posts and then create a new post, then find the post by ID, update it, and we should be able to delete it. So I'll use this. I'll create all those methods. So I will be using this Typeorm. So let's install Typeorm. To use Typeorm, we can simply go to documentation and go to the techniques and database. So we need to install these two, Typeorm, Nestjs Typeorm, and then I will be using Sqlite. So I will change according to that. So I'll go to this command prompt and I'll just copy paste this, and also I will be needing a package for Sqlite. That would be, I guess, Sqlite 3. Just let me check. So it should be Sqlite 3, so I'll just paste it here. So I'll install all this. All the packages for Typeorm and Sqlite 3 have installed, so I'll just open this and I'll create one entities folder where all the posts related to this post will be there. Sorry, all the entities related to this post API will be there. So I'll create one entities folder, and also we need to register our Typeorm module. So what I'll do is I'll go to the app module folder, come here and import this Typeorm module. So what I can do is in the modules folder you can just type Typeorm module. Okay, and then we can specify for root. So you can see Typeorm module is coming from Nestjs /Typeorm. So I can define the type, and let me bring in the other options here. So these options, and also we need to define the entity. So I'll just make it blank as of now, and I'll create one post entity here. So I'll just name it as post.entity.ts, and I'll just do this Expo class post entity, and it should contain one field ID, and this should be of type number. Then we should have title, and this should be of type string. Then we have content, this should be of type string. So once this is done, we can decorate this post entity properties with a specific column. So I'll just say primary generated column for the ID field, and this should be primary generated column. So this is coming from Typeorm itself. Then we can specify mark it as a column. This will be a column, and we can also mark this as column. So I can here, and I can specify the column. So now I can register this entity inside the app module itself. So I can just paste it here, and it should be able to import it here. So once I save this all file, and so this has run, and you can see we have specified the path data, then db.db. So this created one db.db file. Sorry for the name. So it contains this, and we can check it with Sqlite Explorer. So I open database, and if we can open this, so this is an extension. So why is it not coming up? Okay, it's just here. And so currently it does not contain anything. If I minimize this, so currently it does not contain anything. It should contain post entity. Okay, we'll see, look into it. So once I've done this, now I've specified this post entity. Now what I can do is I can register this Typeorm module for features. So earlier we have imported it for the project level. Now we have to import it at module level. So I'll just use Typeorm module.for and call this for feature. And now it should take some options, and those would be only one entity. It would be post entity. So now if I save this, it should refresh, and it isn't creating any table. Okay, so I'm getting this post repository not found error. So we have to register this post repository. So to create this repository, I'll basically inject this repository in my service. So what I can do is I can come here and I can define constructor, and I should have one decorator inject repository, and I'll specify the type. It should be a post entity, and then I can mark it as private post repository, and it should be of type repository, and again it is coming from Typeorm itself, and post should be of type post entity. So now we can use this, and now it should work. Now it is running. Let's check in the app module. This. Okay, just let me try to use in this post. So I'll just create get all method. So this should return all posts. I'll just use return this dot post repository dot find, and it should return me all the posts, and this should be of type async. Since this returns a promise, so I'll just use await, and I'll save this. Let's check. Okay, so we need to specify this entity, mark it as entity. So I messed that, and I'll use this post, specify the stable. So now this should work. Okay, so if I come here and if you see I have a table created itself, and if I go here and show table, I run this query, then I have no records for this table. So what I can do is now I can utilize this .save. So whatever name you specify in the post, it will show up here. It will create the table like this for here. So what I can do is now I can check this method to get all, and I can specify that too. So I'll go to the controller and write get. So it should be a get request. Specify the endpoint here. So say slash API slash v1 slash. That's it, and write this async get posts. Get all posts, and I'll await this. Sorry, return this. Await this post service, and I'll call this get all method. So now come here, and I should be able to do this. So I'll just query this get all. So this should work fine. I'll just click on send, and you can see API slash v1 slash post. Okay. Okay, so I'll just specify this slash v1 slash post, and then I don't have to specify anything here. So I'll do that, let it start, and now I can click send. Okay, so that started here. Now I should be able to see, so I'm getting a blank. Now let's go to simply. Now I'll just create those methods. So in the service to create those, so I'll just add another method in the service itself to create a post. So it will accept title and content, and now it will create an entity, and then I'm saving this entity to the database. So this will be returned. Similarly, I'll just get the post by ID, and if I specify the post with an ID, I should be able to get the ID, get the post for that. And similarly, I'll create those update and delete post methods. So if you see, I get ID, title and content, and then I was just login, so we don't need log now, and we can use this. Yeah, so for the service part we are done. Coming to the controller, I'll just use this. So creating a post will require a post controller, basically a post request, HTTP post request. So what I can do is, and come here, and I'll create one more third post. So I can use this. So this should be of type post. So I need to specify this, and post DTO is coming from the post DTO we have created, and this is the body decorator to extract the body from the request. So if I go to postman collection and I go to create a post, so I'll just change the title. This is my first post. Do this and send. So I am able to create it with an ID. So I can create one more post and I can mark it as second post. Now I can use this second. So this is created. We can also verify this in the database itself. So I can do this and I'll see just show table. So now you can see ID title has been created in our database. Similarly, I can use this get ID, create one more method to get the post by ID, and this is para. So this, and similarly I will create one delete method, and similarly I'll create a put method to update the data, to update the post. So I'll just use all the imports, add all the imports required for this. So in the get ID, actually we can specify that it will get an ID, and we are expecting one dynamic ID variable. So I should be able to do this. So, and for delete ID also we should specify this ID field from the params, and we can do this. So coming to the postman, so if I haven't created any endpoint to find ID by post, but I can utilize this. So URL would be, I want to like update the second post and I'll delete this. So this is my content, and if I click sign, so it is updated. I'm returning the same. And if I go to this, refresh it, and just table. So now you can see it has updated it. Similarly, I can use delete, and I'll delete this, and it should return me raw. Okay, coming here, and now if I query this show table, so now I cannot see with ID 1. So this is how we create a post API using Nestjs, and we did all the CRUD operations, and we utilized Typeorm as well to query our databases. In the next video I'll show you how to add Swagger to your Nest API to see those documentation. Instead of using Postman, you can utilize those.